Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of Zay's Experience. My name is Zay, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to make coffee with the Chemex. There are many ways to go ahead and make a coffee with the Chemex, but for today's purposes, we're going to be making it as simple as possible. If you guys want to go ahead and do your own research and really go into the nitty-gritty into it, good luck. There's a bunch of information with coffee when it comes to anybody's opinion on this or that, so if you want to go down that road, more power to you. Having said that, there is a couple of things that we are going to need. First of all, you're going to need your Chemex, obviously, to go ahead and make your coffee. Second, we're going to need a scale. This is going to help us to really zero down on the quantities and really just make that consistent cup of coffee all the time and every time we come on over to make our coffee. Next, choose a selection of grounds that you guys kind of like. I recommend you guys get something that's not a dark roast. A lot of times with dark roasts, you'll find that companies use those darker roasts to mask a lot of the problems that the bean may have or a lot of imperfections that the bean may have. And I'm not saying that all dark roasts are like that, but most of them are. So if you get a medium light roast, you're going to be able to taste the flavor that much more. It's a lot easier with the Chemex to taste those flavors. Now you guys know me. I get my coffee from Cafe Moto or Dark Horse Coffee Roasters. I'm not sponsored by them in any way or shape or form, but at this point, all the money that I spend with them, I should be. Shout out to Cafe Moto, some really great coffee. So medium to light roast is my recommendation. You can go ahead and try dark if you want to, but it might not taste as good. Also, try getting some whole beans. You can see I have them here. They haven't been grounded. I have a hand grinder, which is not the most efficient way to do it, but it definitely gives me a really consistent ground. And you guys can go into detail on that again, but a consistent ground is very, very important. I learned this very recently from one of my baristas, one of my favorite baristas, actually at Cafe Moto. He was telling me the difference, how big of a difference it makes to have just a consistent ground. And I went into detail. I got lost in like 20 YouTube videos. Trust me, it matters. But if you want something cheap that does the job pretty well, I recommend this Hario hand grinder. It's really, really awesome. Super consistent grounds all the time, especially for how cheap it is. Next, now if you don't have anything to pour hot water with, I recommend you using the bottom part of a French press. So let me show you guys. It's just the bottom part that I'm using, and I'll show you how to use this in a little while. Also, if you have an electric thermometer, that would really, really help you out, guys, especially since we need to measure the temperature of the water. This one's called the Javelin Pro. I use it for my meats, I use it for water, I use it for a bunch of stuff. It's super consistent, it's pretty good. I'll show you guys why you're gonna need one of these in a little while. And last but not least, you're gonna need filters. I'll show you what to do with these in a little while. There's plenty of brands. I like to use the Chemex brand. It's pretty awesome, it works great, and it takes a lot of the flavor away that you would otherwise get with other brands. After a while, you start tasting the paper if it's not a really good one, but I'll tell you guys more about it later. But enough talking, let's get started with this. Guys, so we're gonna start this off by weighing out our coffee. That way we get everything ready before we start. First thing, we get our grams. And for this particular Chemex, this is an 8-cup Chemex. So I'm gonna leave on the description below how many grams of coffee you're gonna need if you're using a 4-cup, a 3-cup, a 20-cup, whatever cup. And then you can kind of gauge it from there. But for this particular one, we're gonna be using 54 grams of ungrounded coffee, and then we're gonna go ahead and ground that up. Zero it out. 54. Now we're gonna go ahead and ground these up. For this, whatever grinder that you're using, make sure it's a really ground coarse. This is gonna help us out a lot. So the kind of ground that you would use for a French press would work really well here. So go for some of the coarsest settings that you can on whatever grinder that you're using. Grind. If you guys ever ground coffee before by hand, you'll know that it's a royal pain in the... But the results you get from it are awesome.
Oh yeah.
That looks awesome. Next step, let's get the water boiling. So you guys are going to want to start boiling up your water, and I recommend you guys pouring in about 800 grams to 900 grams of water. And I'm going to show you why in a little bit. Now, the recommended temperature that I'm going to need for you guys to record on your thermometers, if you have one, is 200 to 205 Fahrenheit. Now, the next step that we're going to do and use our Chemex filter. So you're going to realize real quick that there is multiple folds to this. This basically is folded just into 4. Let me show you. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip this over like that, and we're going to leave three of these on one side and only one on the other, so it makes a cone. So this is the thinner side, and this is the one with 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. And what we're going to do now, we're going to put it on top of our Chemex. So the side with 3 is going to be on the side where you pour with, and then the side with 1 is going to be on the back side of it. See, it even comes in the box that way. Thin side on the back, thicker side on the front. Now remember that French press that I was talking about at the beginning? Now it's time to use it. We're going to pour that hot water that we just boiled over into this. This is a lot easier to handle than a pot. Unless you have a really awesome pot, then go ahead and use that. But I usually do this. I just go ahead and pour my hot water into this, and that makes it a lot more manageable. Remember those extra 200 grams of water that I told you to pour into your pot? Now we're going to use them. So let's start by getting all the filter completely damped. So this is why I like using the French press a little better than just the pot, because it really helps you manage how much water you pour in. So once that is completely damped, give it a good shake at the bottom. This also serves the purpose of heating up our Chemex, so that's going to help out the whole coffee making process at the very end. And just pour that water out. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and put this on top of the scale once again. Zero it out and put your grounded coffee on top. Once you're good with that, zero that out and let the pouring begin. Let me get in here. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to pour in only 100 grams of water. For every 25 grams of coffee, you put in 25 grams of water. So in this case, since we got 50 grams, 54-ish, we're going to go ahead and pour 100 grams of water, and we're going to let that sit or bloom. So what the blooming process does is it goes ahead and saturates all the coffee grounds. That way we get an evenly tasting cup of coffee. So let's start by pouring in those 100 grams of water. Now when you're doing this, guys, make sure you pour it slowly, super slowly. Try to distribute it as evenly as possible. Now we're going to let the blooming process take effect for about a minute. So if you guys have a timer, I suggest you start popping it out. And then after that, it gets quite simple. Once that minute's passed, we'll go ahead and pour in the rest of the water slowly, making a circle pour all around, and then at the end we'll start pouring in a little bit more in the middle. Be very patient with this, guys. You guys don't want to go ahead and pour in all the water at once. So after 4 minutes of this, including the blooming time, your coffee is ready. We're gonna go ahead and remove this. And there you have it, guys. The magic of Chemex coffee. And why do we want coffee, guys? Because we want to drink it. Oh, snap. only thing left, guys, is to enjoy. French press just doesn't taste quite like Chemex. You can taste so much more of the coffee in a Chemex. It just feels like a lot more natural taste of the actual bean. So if you're buying some really high quality bean and you get this down to a point, you're gonna love making coffee for yourself. But that is it, guys. Thanks for joining me in another episode of Zay's Experience. As always, guys, if you like this video, please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment down there. I always read them. It's always nice to hear what you guys have to say about these videos. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. It really helps out the channel. Also, I'm gonna leave all the measurements down in the description. That way you guys can go ahead and work with whatever you guys have, whether it is an 8 cup of coffee, a 4 cup of coffee, Chemex, whatever it may be. I'm gonna leave the approximates down there. But that is it for today, guys. I gotta go leave and do some exercise and get some of this coffee out of my system because this is my 3rd cup of coffee. Oh yeah, Chemex is that good. But in any case, guys, Zay out. Peace. Yeah.